Hi, good morning. So excited y'all are here. I'm Kim Wells Ely. It is my great pleasure to introduce Patti Hornstra. Patti Hornstra, native of Richmond, Virginia, and a graduate from Virginia Commonwealth University with a degree in marketing and business education. Her days are filled with adventure as a real estate broker, and her nights spent fixated on becoming a writer, which she now. This is her first book. She married the love of her life, Curtis, in 1987, and together they have raised 4 children. They adjusted nicely as to life as empty nesters and eagerly await life's next adventure. Patti enjoys VCU basketball, go Rams, traveling to places, and spending time at the RA. Welcome, Patti Hornstra.
Thank you, Kim. Oh my gosh, this is exciting.
Yay! Welcome, welcome. Glad you are here. So we are doing a Q&A about your incredible book, When He Was Anna. So if it's okay with you, Patti, let's jump right on in.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Excellent. So Patti, When He Was Anna is based on your relationship with your daughter, Anna, who is transgender and transitioning from female to male. I wanted to ask, why was it important for you to write your story?
This, Kim, Anna's now Tristan. So yeah, Anna is a transgender male. So a person who was born female and is transitioned to male. And I've been on this mom journey for about 3.5 years. It is a place I never expected to find myself, obviously, because I have 4 kids, and Tristan is my 4th. And a little over a year ago, I realized that I had so many things bottled up inside that I really needed to say. And I was confused. I searched for answers. I couldn't find the answers I was looking for. I needed to validate my feelings. There was just a lot. There was a lot going on. So it occurred to me one day that I needed to write this stuff down. So I started to write down my thoughts, my memories, my feelings. Writing really became my therapy. And then it evolved into a book.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. My next question is, you mentioned in the book, and I don't think I'm giving anything away, that you had a really hard time with changing your pronouns from female to male when you're talking about Tristan. Would you please tell us a little bit more about that?
So, and if anyone watching this has read the book, then I'm very blunt. And I said this in the book, the pronouns are a bitch. I struggled then, I struggle now. And you'll see that in the book. I mean, that's a huge part of the book. You know, I found out midway through my pregnancy with my 4th child that I was having a girl. And so we immediately named her. Obviously we used female pronouns. I mean, this was our little girl. So for over 17 years, I used female pronouns and a female name with my child. And then one day that wasn't okay anymore. And, you know, it was just over. It came out of the blue. It blindsided me completely. I never in a million years thought that my daughter would come to me one day and say, hey, I'm transgender and I'm going to transition and live my life as a male. And you can't call me by my name anymore. I have a new name, and you can't use female pronouns anymore. And that's hard.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. I love the write about it. And you mentioned that you're very blunt. And I think that's one of the most impactful parts of your book is the fact that you're just straight out authentic and you're like, you know, take me as I am. I love that about you. So one of the questions I had for you is, what was your hardest scene or chapter to write in this book?
And honestly, it was The last few chapters of the book were really, really hard. Those were actually the chapters where I opened up the most painful part of our family's journey so far, I think, were those last few chapters. And to put that on paper was tough. I think to summarize, those chapters are about tough love. If you are of my generation, then you've heard tough love. In the book, I called it firm love. I think we sort of did a hybrid of that. But those were some tough things to write, because to be authentic and to be real and to be honest, I had to really open up and say, this is what we went through.
Right. Oh, well, it's very impactful. So what would you say is the main message that you want readers to come away with after reading When He Was Anna?
So that's a great question. And I have thought about that for a very long time. And I think the challenge to that question is, how do I take a 200-page book and summarize it into a few words,
Right.
just to convey the message of the entire book? And you and I've talked about this before, when I was trying to decide how to sign my books. At the book signing the other day, how do I sign my books? And I wanted to sign my books in a way that conveyed really this whole journey up to this point, and how I feel and what this whole 200-page book is about. So here it is. Here's the message. The struggle is real, and so is the love.
Oh, that's powerful. That's really powerful. And,
That's the
I
book.
love that you, yeah, it is. That is the message. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you and I worked together, with your writing coach, and it was such a delight. So, I know a little bit of insight on this, but I'd like to ask, for your readers, what did you edit out of this book?
Oh my gosh. There wasn't a whole lot. What did I edit out? That's the stump question for me, right? Obviously the names of people outside of my family were changed, right? If that counts as an edit. So they were changed.
Yes.
There, honestly, there, as far as the journey goes, there wasn't much that was left out. Maybe some details that weren't as important. But no, it's pretty much, it's a no holds barred memoir, if you will. Yeah.
Most definitely. And I want to add that it's an intense topic. You also have a wonderful sense of humor, and I love how that comes out in your writing. I think that really helps to engage and, in my opinion, endear the reader to you, because it's like, gosh, what would we do without a sense of humor, right?
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Very true. So since it is a tough topic, did you ever consider writing under a pseudonym or a pen name?
I did. That was a really hard decision. There's even a part in the book toward the end of the book where I write about having dinner with a friend, and she told me point blank, you cannot use your real name. You can't. There's more details about that in the book, but she said no. And it almost wasn't a suggestion. It was a mandate. You cannot use your real name. And so that gave me pause, because I was kind of on the fence. But at the end, I realized that my promise was to write a book that was honest, no BS, and I couldn't do that if I didn't use my real name. So just as a side note, and I think this is important because I hear this a lot, and there have been some social media questions and comments about this. Tristan read the book, and Kristin, before I decided to publish. Tristan read the whole book, including the title and including the fact that it's published under my name. And Tristan approved. It got the green light.
Excellent. I remember that was important to you, and you and I had some conversations about that. You said, I'm just going to go forward unless she approves.
Right. It never would have happened. It would have stayed on the computer. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is your first book. I wanted to ask about writing. Do you feel like a writer that writing energizes you, or does it exhaust you?
Oh my gosh. It does both. It really does both. And I know that's probably a non-answer.
No, that's okay.
Writing is kind of an escape. And I sort of feel I'll feel my zone coming, when, okay, I really need to write. So I get in that zone, and it's funny because I'll go back sometimes and read what I've written. And honestly, I don't remember writing it. And I'll look at it and think, who the heck wrote this?
Right.
Just because I really do get so I guess it's more energizing, but the emotional parts of the book, obviously they're exhausting.
Absolutely. Answer. No, I think that's a good answer to say both. Absolutely. Yeah. I wanted to, before I ask my last question, we have Kiana Perkins, who is listening in and with us. And she has a question. So Patti, is it okay if I ask her question?
Oh my gosh. Kiana, be nice. Yes.
Kiana says, with all the hats that you wear, how did you find the time to get this book written?
A little bit at a time. Honestly, a little bit at a time. So Kiana, Kim and I've had this conversation. When I was in college, I literally would write the whole term paper in my head. Back when I was in college, we had to write term papers. I'd write the whole thing, start to finish, would be written before I even sat down. Then it was, at a typewriter because we didn't have computers. And the book was similar. Once the thought came into my mind that, hey, I need to do this. I need to write these things down. I didn't start out saying, oh, I'm going to write this book. I started out saying, I have to write these things down that are on my mind. And then once that thought popped in, it was almost like it just started and everything just came out. And there would be, days and sometimes I guess a week or more where I didn't touch it. I think there was one point where I went about 2 weeks and didn't even write anything because my real job, my day job, it cycles, and sometimes it's super busy and sometimes it's not as busy. And so, but just because it's not as busy, you might not be in the mood to write, or those things haven't hit me in my head that I need to write down yet. So it's just a balance.
Absolutely.
But the book took about seven months to write, something like that. So, I mean, it wasn't painfully long, but it wasn't super quick either.
So I have a question based on that, because you said that you often write the book or the term paper, but you write it in your head. So how much had you written in your head before you put it down on paper for this book?
I think a lot. I think so. Okay, here's kind of the untold story. Okay. So it was August. So it would have been August a year ago. And I was actually working on another book that I had started 10 years ago and put down and picked back up. And I was pretty determined that I was going to finish that book. It was a book that's I think that'll be next, and it's another very emotional book for me. So I decided I need to pick it back up. Mm-hmm. And so here's the I can't believe she said that moment. So I was in the shower one day, and it hit me that you need to write this stuff down that you're going through with your child. This is what you need to write down right now.
Yeah.
And I literally jumped out of the shower, right? Wrapped up, got on the computer, looked at, Kurt's watching TV, and I said, don't worry about what I'm doing. And just don't talk to me for a few minutes, okay? Because I mean, there's this mad woman jumping out of the shower, running across the room, jumping on the computer. And he thought I was crazy. But so at that moment, I just typed in everything that had flooded my mind.
Wow.
In those moments, right? And so that was my start. And then, then I composed myself and, came back to it another time. But that was sort of the start of, this is what I need to do.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's what was edited from the book, I think, is the fact that I started writing it in my brain when I was taking a shower. So,
there we go. That was the edited out part.
Yeah, that's the edited out part. Yeah.
So Nancy Caviones is on with us, and she is an amazing book administrative assistant, and she has a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
So do you think you'll write a follow-up book?
So that's a good question. And I've actually had some people send me some private messages because the book was out as an advanced reader copy several months ago, so people could download the book and read it. So a lot of people read the book, before today when it actually came out. And it was so funny. I had so many people reach out to me and say, please tell us you're going to do a follow-up because we feel like you kind of left us hanging. We don't know how this all ends, but it doesn't end, right? Because it just it's our family's story, so it keeps going. But I think even since the books, the time period stopped, because the books are chronology, right? So it stopped December a year ago was the kind of because I had at some point I had to say, okay, I'm not going to write past this point, right? Because then I'd still be writing, there'd be no book. But I've had so many people reach out and say, oh my gosh, we want to know what's happened next.
Yes.
So, lots happened since. So, it's been a year since I put the, quote, put the pen down. So,
right.
So there may be another book, another in the When He Was Anna saga.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. And Nancy had another great question: is would you ever write a book with Kristin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
And in fact, kind of a fun fact here. So side note. So when Kristin read the book, I said, if you ever wanted to write your own story, we could make that happen. I said, I'll help. If you want some help. And I think that was kind of a teenage brush off, but Kristin actually, there are a couple parts in the book where I sort of beat myself up, right? I'm very open about my parental failures. Okay. And the things I wish I had done differently and the lessons I wish I had learned that I didn't. Okay. Because of making the same mistake more than once. But Kristin came to me one day and said, and I won't tell you which part of the book it is, but so Kristin came to me one day and said, you kind of beat yourself up about this one part of the book for something you feel like you should have done differently. And she said, I'll tell you what it is. Okay. There's a part in the book, because it won't make sense if I don't. There's a part in the book where I really beat myself up about not taking her to the hospital when someone that she knew died, when they were dying. And it happened twice. And, she experienced a lot of loss. Kristin experienced a lot of loss in a short period of time at a very young age. And this was when Kristin was Anna. And there were two situations in there in the book where there were people that she was close to, teenagers, and they died, and I didn't take her. And it's haunted me. It's haunted me for a long time. And the reasons are in the book. I mean, I'm not, I sound pretty mean right now, but the reasons are in the book. But Kristin came to me after the book was finished and said, you need to quit beating yourself up about that, because you took me the second time, you took me. And I said, I don't remember. It was such an emotional time period for our family, but Kristin assured me, you took me. Quit beating
Wow.
yourself up. You know, you didn't screw up. So,
Oh,
which is really nice, but it just goes to show you the book is based on my memory. And, you know, there are certain things in there, I'm sure that, you know, I got a detail wrong here and there. So,
yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's really amazing. I would love to read a book that it either follows up on when he was Anna, like we were talking about with what, you know, what did they used to say, the rest of the story, you know, what
right,
happened after
right.
he put the pen down. And then also to write a book along with Tristan, because I think that would be fascinating. But
Yeah.
really love all the insights, and you're just super candid in the book, just as candid as you are during this interview. So it's really remarkable. So here's a last question, and it is, what are your next steps with when he was Anna?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Next steps are to get some Amazon reviews. So if you've read the book,
Yay.
please go review it on Amazon.
Yes, please do.
That's in the short term. Um, you know, one of the things that I'd like to continue that I found was unexpected for me was the connection with people who've
Um,
reached out to me and said, I've gone through something similar, or I'm in the middle of something similar, or my sister's gone through something similar. You know, there's so many people that that are in this situation, right? So I'd like to continue that connection. Um, per Nancy's question, you know, there may be a follow-up book. We'll see, you know, over time. But when people say to me, my family's going through the same thing, and I've had people say, thank you for saying what we feel like we can't say. You know,
right.
that's impactful. Um, right now, I think that I, the next steps for the book would be just hopefully to get it out there to enough people that some people who are going through a complicated situation in their family like this one, right,
Right.
that it might offer some comfort. You know, it sounds very cliche to say, okay, you're not alone, other people are going through it. You know, it's a very cliche thing to say, but um, you know, when you're trying to work through something that's so complicated and so intense and so impactful on your family,
Right.
I think it is nice to know that other people have lived to tell the tale.
Yes.
So, you know, and I think that the message there, you know, as I said earlier, the struggle is real and so is the love.
Yes. Oh, brilliant. Love it. Patty, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
questions and answers. And thank you to Kiana and to see and everybody who's watching. So please be sure and get your copy of this incredible book, When He Was Anna. And do leave an Amazon review, because it's an amazing book and we want to show this incredible, awesome author some love. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.